Hey folks, we're going live. This is Ann Sieg, founder of the E-commerce Business School, coming at you. And
Oh,
it's hey there, a big ho and a very big happy birthday to Brian Cummings. Hey, happy birthday to you, Brian.
thank you very much. I've decided I'm going to remain 59. I really am 59. This is it. This is a good age to be.
It's a good age to be, and I'm going to wish you the absolute best success at just holding it right where it needs to be.
Thank you.
I'll be cheering you on. All righty. And then
as you age, you'll be cheering me on as I stay the same. Yes.
Yeah, that'll be quite the feat for all of mankind. So, hey, it's interesting. I noticed in this photo, I have a bookcase behind me. Oh, yes, yeah. In Santa Claus hats. And you have a bookcase behind you, which is the very purpose of this ho call. So what we're going to talk about, Brian, you owned a neuromuscular therapy business. You had some bad news that came through the state of California. In like kind, we had a windshield business where a law came out and it just cut our legs out from underneath us. So that is what happened to you. And we know that happens to people all the time. We're not unique in that way, where life happens and all of a sudden you have to shift, whether that be a full-time income or a part-time. And we call this a side hustle, the book flipping profit system. But the reality is it was more than a full-time income for you. Very generous lifestyle, that enough money in 1 month of sales to put down on a house, and you bought 4 motorhomes. So why don't you give the backstory, and then we're going to talk about how powerful this system is, not just for you, but more importantly for our members who have already implemented the system.
Yeah. I wasn't looking for a side hustle. I wasn't looking for other income. I'd been a neuromuscular therapist with a successful business. Both my wife and I, we had employees. It was a thriving business for 14 years. And Governor Schwarzenegger, remember him, Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, he was governor of California, and that's where I live. And he overhauled the workers' compensation program. That was the bulk of my clientele, were people that were injured workers. And all of a sudden I couldn't bill. So I lost 2/3 of my business with, basically it was overnight, and I'm looking for a side hustle. That's what drove me to the books, was looking for a side hustle. My wife likes yard sales. I went along, I could see the stuff there that people were selling that I could resell on eBay. And I did that, and I was fairly successful. I was doing about $3,000 a month on eBay, which is a nice little bit of money, for a side hustle. And it was like full-time work. It was hard. It was really hard. And I stumbled across this little report about selling books on Amazon. And, you can look back at my books. This is one of about 4 bookshelves. And I've got some very expensive medical texts, and I put them up for sale, and they sold like that on Amazon. Yeah. And I was just shocked because I had books up for sale on eBay, and a few would sell here and there, but not like Amazon. So, when you get a taste of something that's good, yeah. It's like, I had some success. Let me go do some more. And it just led over a few months into filling up a whole bedroom with books for sale on Amazon, and then actually 2 bedrooms, and then branching into something called FBA, where you send your product into Amazon and they ship it out, so you don't have to be shipping it. And that just led into the system, a routine system. It supported me very well. And eventually I shuttered my doors. I mean, my wife still has her office. She's still a neuromuscular therapist, but Amazon was just too kind to me.
Well, thank you, Jeff Bezos, right? And for FBA, because you did Merchant Fulfilled for, 2-3 years through books, and then discovered FBA when it was newer. And that puts you in a, sorry, go ahead.
Fulfilled. I only sold books, Merchant Fulfilled, for about 9 months.
Oh, okay. For 9 months.
I learned about the FBA program and sent some in, and they sold so quickly. It was like, let's send some more in. And then I just cleared everything. So it took me a month to be sold on it. I just sent everything into Amazon. 100%. I didn't have to ship any of that product. I didn't have to handle it except for once and put in a large box and send it off to Amazon. I was like sold completely.
Yeah. Say, before we go on, just folks, make sure you register. We've got a web class coming up real quick. So make sure you'll see the link there on the post. Go ahead and register, because Brian, what happened then is you came on board our community courtesy of Dr. Josie Shepard in 2014.
Yes.
Yeah, 2014. Yeah, 4 years ago. And you were training on other things, but not books. But our members were hearing about it. In fact, it was at a spring event in 2015 when one of our trainers said, hey, why don't you tell this story about Phyllis?
Oh, yes. So, just to fill in a little gap there, I met you through a mutual friend, Dr. Josie Shepard. She was a partner. We both had our own Amazon businesses, but we studied together. She had been presenting with you. That's how I met you. But we met at a trade show, you and I, that Josie was at as well. And we're selling other products besides books. And I just wanted to say that, books were fun, and there's other things that you can sell on Amazon. So here I am at your event about 6 months later and teaching on selling other products. And I thought, I'm still selling books, and it's a great business. Why don't we introduce a book selling course to your community? Met Phyllis, one of our other trainers. Actually, she had said to me earlier than that, she said, Brian, I'd like to know a little more about selling books. Can you tell me about it? Yeah, sure, I can tell you. And so she became a protege, and through her, we used her experience, my experience of working with her to build out the whole book selling profit system training that's in existence today.
Yeah. And so what happened is we had a workshop that very fall, and then we put it into a course, which we rolled out November of 2015. Now, here's what I love about this is a lot of people get concerned about, and rightly so, fatigue in the marketplace. Is it even viable anymore? Oh, wait a minute. What about all those other book scouts and the system? I just interviewed Christina Leo this morning. She did 10,000 in sales in August. She's going to have a huge January. And she does very part-time because she has her main private label business, and her books are just like this steady flow of cash flow coming in to support her bigger business. And she knows she could go all out full-time with books, but nope, it's his part-time steady. And there it was 10 grand, and she does about 5 grand a month part-time doing books. So it's still just as viable, dependable, reliable, and consistent as it was when you first introduced it.
Christina and the others, they could do it full-time, they could do it part-time. You get out of it what you put into it. Mm-hmm. And so we did books specifically or exclusively for 3 or 4 years. That was our main business. If we sold some other products on Amazon, that was good too. But it was books that got us into this home that I live in now. We bought this in 2011. We had been in debt when Schwarzenegger changed those rules and we lost all that business. It didn't take very many months for us to go on this downward spiral of debt. So it took about 18 months of selling books at that time. It would be a lot faster knowing what I know now. But 18 months, we paid off $60,000 in debt and also earned enough for a down payment of about another 20 grand and moved into this home. Yeah. Bought a couple of different motorhomes. We have a diesel pusher, a nice 2017 Fleetwood 33-foot diesel pusher. So now we travel in style. We just have a wonderful life. Terry and I are going to Cabo for 2 weeks in January. We'll have already sent in all of our product for book season, and then we'll talk about book season in a little bit.
Yes, textbook season. Okay, now, Brian, something that's really important that people understand is there are other book methods out there, but yours truly is unique and proprietary that you figured out, so much so that other book scouts that you would see would go, oh, those are Brian books, because they would scan, and then you would come after them and clean house, and you'd get a shopping cart. Well, they'd come out with a stack. And our members do the same thing. They'll go to a Friends of the Library book sale where it's at the tail end. Coach Kurt comes to mind. No problemo. They're following your method, and they come out with, he's got a picture where it's a stack almost up to the ceiling of just children's books after everyone else had already gone through. So we're not going to have time to explain the details of that, but all told, you have 4 keys that make the book flipping profit system work. And that's one of those keys that we're going to go into is the Amazon data loophole, which some people say, oh, there's no such thing as an Amazon data loophole. Nope, there really is. And it's not like it's a cheat or anything like that. It simply has to do with viable bandwidth coming through a phone at any moment is what it has to do with.
Yeah, I felt hamstringed at the time by this data loophole or the lack of data, and I just found a way around it. And it's kind of been surprising to me that others don't go through the same path, but they haven't. Other people have not. So I teach this, and then us, the book flippers, the book flipping profit system members, we all have this like special secret. And it's kind of funny because the other book scouts, and I'm friends with these different people, they say, why are you buying these? Because, I've already scanned through them and I don't think they're profitable. They'll tell me, and I know that they are.
Right. And you're like, yeah, well, right, whatever. I'll buy it and take the loss. Right. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. All right. Well, we're going to have a web class where you're going to, as they say, spill the beans and describe these 4 keys that make the system so doable, predictable, and profitable. And I just want to add in one more thing, Brian. There's a lot to be said for someone knowing something, but it's a completely different matter to take what you know and distill it down into understandable steps of information. You have that in spades, and that is a really unique ability that I've seen other, trainers just don't have that ability to think in that way. And what that means for the end user, people going through any of your training, which you've created a tremendous amount of training inside the e-commerce business school. You just got a huge compliment last night, a completely different training. I meant to let you know about that, but it was huge. Is you know how to break it down for the benefit of the members so that they're not like left in a gap and stuck. And add to that is the incredible support that we have here at the e-commerce business school. But I really do have to give you kudos on that. You really lead the way in setting up training material to be usable for our members to implement. So, and that's what Christina said today. So I thank you for that, and all the more so your willingness to be with us this coming Friday. And we're going to go through that information. Others watching this video in the future could land on a different day of the week, but for this particular week, it's Friday at 12 p.m. CT. So be there, note the time zone, the link is below. So Brian, I'm excited for you to share. People will, no matter what, even if they didn't move forward with it, they're going to learn about a very viable business model. If nothing else, let other people know who genuinely need a side income or a full-time income for their family.
This has been a real blessing for me. It was pretty scary at that time in my life, and then just kind of stumble into this thing and then turn it into a reliable procedural method for, it's been a huge blessing.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. And I should just take a quick peek and see if anyone has any questions, but they should know the drill. It's just go ahead and register and show up. Okay, there's Chrissy saying happy birthday. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, we're going to give it a wrap. Thanks so much, Brian. I look forward to seeing you this Friday. We'll see you in the web class.
Sam. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.